Coming up in the greatest unfair Grimdark Iron Man Blind Rogue Trader playthrough ever.
What the hell?
We make a decision.
I'll have the lower ranks stripped of their vocal cords. Will this cause like a mutiny or something?
Develop a blood kink.
Trust me, killing
Oh,
brings me no
snap.
pleasure.
And we underestimate the Grimdark Space Peasants.
Quick! That's nothing worse.
Whoa!
Welcome back, handsome viewers. It's time for more Rogue Trader. Previously we acquired Cassia Nobilite. Oh no, not Cassia Nobilite. Cassia, what's her name again? Orselio, I believe. And I've just taken some time to go through the stats, work some things out, equip some gear. Like her staffs, she apparently has some kind of unique staff type that she can equip, and you start with 2 after the Orselio house debacle on Yorak 5. One version is castigating and the other version is infernusing or something. What does it say here? Castigating and infusing. So infusing is basically for when you target your allies, they get +5 to all characteristics. And castigating is -5 penalty to enemy characteristics. And the reason why I'm going for castigating is because she has... how do we quickly get to the stats? She has an ability. Lidless Stare. It's an origin talent. All creatures in a cone in front of the navigator suffer 13 to 16 damage. Where does that damage come from? Her willpower. So we buff her willpower. Oh, man, I think we dumped points into her perception. We should have buffed her willpower. So the affected targets must also pass a 30 bonus willpower resistance test or become stunned. So she has this unlimited range cone effect that can stun and damage people, right? Compounded with the staff, you're destroying their stats as well. So she seems a bit broken, but time will tell. We are playing unfair. This is a blind playthrough, and I'm having an absolute blast. It's very heavy on the reading. It's very heavy on the lore and stuff, which is why I'm playing it, to be honest. But I can't recommend this game enough, man. It's been such a joy to play so far. It would be nice if they could, have most or if not all sections of the game voice acted. It does get a bit much because the game is incredibly long-winded, but that is not going to deter us from having a great time. Now, I want to see, can we find Cassia on the bridge something? Now, I want to do NPCs around the bridge comment on the, recent events, like what happened on Yorak 5. Lord Captain, the Master at Arms, snaps to attention, ready to carry out your order. Lower your voice conspiratorially. The Lopiat Keppers, confession. So we have a quest. We snooped in the Warhammer 40k version of a confessional recording booth shrine place, and there were 3 confessions that stood out for some reason. I think it might be the beginnings of heresy, it might be something else, I'm not sure, but this is obviously part of that quest. She cocks an eyebrow. Please repeat your orders, Lord Captain. The Keppers, Jocasta, I know everything. What is the dirty secret behind those strange words? Tell me. At ease, it was just a test, you passed. The Keppers, Jocasta, I know everything. Anxiety flares in her gaze. We called the bluff. I am ready to answer any questions as soon as I understand what you mean. Oh, we did not. What is the dirty secret? I have no embarrassing secrets or weaknesses. Please recite the chart so that I may make a formal statement. The Master at Arms' words ring with pride and devotion. Okay. It's not her. We do know it's amongst the officers, apparently. Sarback nods respectfully. A stress interrogation is a good tool. A stress interrogation is a good tool for exposing ideologically weak elements. She lowers her voice slightly. It is usually conducted under duress. Thank you for choosing to omit that part for me. That's all for now. Proud to serve the dynasty. Okay, so that was fruitless. Bridge officer. Greetings, Lord Captain. Unrest on fuel deck 3. Engage protocol 89B. Send in forces immediately. The riffraff are rebelling on the low decks. Bridge Technomat. Idira. Does she have anything new to say? Here we ask. When Idira sees you, her lips curve into a smile and she nods something over your shoulder. She nods at something over your shoulder as if something's behind me. I'd like to hear your augury, Idira. What awaits me in the future? Enough of that
course.
stuff.
Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
Who else is here? Voxmaster Victus, we do want to talk to her. Let's go to... Oh, there she is, Cassia. Let's go have a chat. Damn, we run fast. So one thing I wish that they put a little bit of polish on is just the general movement is a little bit weird sometimes, but what can you do? Valet. Uwe has had his tongue cut off just like the rest of the lesser servants of House Orselio. Brutal.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Cassia offers you a reserved smile and waves at you in greeting. Have we had many stimulating conversations? It's always a bit disappointing when RPGs do this. It's like certain responses are occurring before they should. Tell me about yourself.
I am a part of House Orselio, an ancient dynasty of the Navis nobility. Since time immemorial, our family has served to advance knowledge, pushing at the boundaries of the dark unknown. The Starway Atlas contains 2,843 routes that chart the sectors of the Segmentum Obscurus and reach all the way from the Coronis Expanse to Holy Terra.
The Starway Atlas. So, interesting fact, the Segmentum Obscurus is the section of space near the Holy Stars or something, the Tri-Star, I don't know, some other formation in the galaxy. And it includes the Calixia sector, which is where Dark Heresy is going to take place. And that is a game that I'm incredibly hyped for. Interesting. Listen in silence.
And uniting the Imperium's thousands of worlds. House Orselio is bound by commercial pacts to houses Galeatis, Ortina, Drotus, and... There is a dark blue knot tightening on your neck, Lord Captain. I can see my reply is not satisfying your thirst for knowledge. What is it you desire to hear exactly?
Navigators identify so strongly with their house, it must be difficult for you to not be able to lean on your elders, but you have my word that I will look after you.
You will? That would be most appreciated, Lord Captain.
So you've never lived anywhere other than Yurek 5?
Hardly. According to the chronicles of the house, I was born on one of the Orselio worlds. Oh, what was it? Please forgive me, Lord Captain. My childhood memories are too vague. Sometimes I dream about the colorful birds that built their nests in the garden, or the servants dressed in purple livery, or the blue fog that rolled over the lowlands behind the palace. But everything is covered in a rosy haze. Perhaps it is my imagination, not my memory, that is painting these pictures.
Tell me about your life on the station.
My stay on the station was wholly dedicated to preparing me for my future duty. Astromancy, astrography, numerology, the histories of my house and the Imperium, as well as other disciplines. For many years, dozens of instructors tirelessly prepared me for my destiny. And once a year, Great Regent Alronto would come to the station. He would entrust his beautiful vessel to my command, so that I could master the practical aspects of our art as well.
Okay, Alronto was mentioned while we were down on Yurek 5. Did you have friends, someone you could turn to for simple conversation, not a discussion of yet another lecture?
The Regent gave me a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing, but for some reason, it refused, and died soon after. The instructors were too respectful of my duty to my house to waste precious time on idle chatter. Aside from them, there were only servants on the station, and you know they have their vocal cords removed, so they cannot break their vow of silence.
Of course. What good is a servant who retains his vocal cords?
And since the subject has been breached, Lord Captain, why do you not follow this honored tradition? Your decks are so garish. Apologies, I meant noisy. The rabble don't just chatter. Sometimes they shout and even sing. Why do you allow such a lack of restraint? Rogue traders are highborn, are they not?
You have a point. It's about time we made the decks quieter. I will have the lower ranks stripped of their vocal cords. That is amazing. A ruler cannot maim people just because it is in his power to do so. On the contrary, it is the duty of every ruler to look after his subjects. You may find it difficult to believe, but the practice of depriving servants of their voice is not particularly widespread outside House or Celio. I like the noise people make here. It fills the ship with life. I mean, you have a point. I'll have the lower ranks stripped of their vocal cords. Will this cause like a mutiny or something? That's a bit, I mean, there's dogmatic and then there's this. This is like borderline heresy. You may find it difficult to believe, but the practice of depriving servants of their voice is not particularly widespread outside House or Celia.
Please forgive me, Lord Captain. I was sure it was a sacred tradition made sacrosanct by the ancient vows of obedience. I expect more surprises will be waiting for me outside the walls of Urak 5.
Your third eye, do you always conceal it?
The Navigator's open eye is baneful to whoever the warp's ruinous shine falls upon, and therefore it is the symbol of our power. We are the guiding stars of humanity, found worthy of an uncommon gift, and one of the duties that we bear is to guard our eye, even from wayward glances that may bear evil.
Cool.
Besides, I am aware that lesser servants of the Imperium may find our appearance repulsive. The Navigator gene twists the features the rabble are used to seeing, and the magnificence of our role cannot be grasped by their feeble minds.
So I assume she was Voidborn, but she's, you know, her appearance is obviously because she's a Navigator. You're beautiful, Cassia. Do not anyone or anything convince you otherwise. Who cares for the opinion of the short-sighted rabble? They can serve and die for us. You do not look repulsive. I cannot blame them. Navigators are mutants, albeit highborn mutants. You do not look repulsive.
Perhaps my appearance does not terrify you right now, but this will not always be so. The Navigator gene is unstable. My body is going to change over time. And only the God Emperor knows exactly how.
In genuine terror, Cassia presses fingers to her lips as if belatedly trying to stop the words from tumbling out. Man, that sucks. What does it feel like to guide a vessel through the warp?
It may be difficult to describe. You see, every navigator perceives the warp differently. My mentor, Great Regent Elronto, always described his travels through the Immaterium as a journey through a vast wood with countless paths. And I, assisting him in the first voyages, futilely tried to follow his example. But the wood would not reveal itself to me. But everything changed when I found my own key to this mystery. You see, I've always brightened up my rare moments of leisure time by painting. You may recall there was a workshop in my chambers. As soon as I imagined the warp as a blank canvas, an indescribable feeling came over me. I moved the brush, going deeper and deeper into my own painting. Visions were hidden within the vibrant colors of my palette, and something inside me knew which should be brought out and which should be left behind. I woke up several days later, after the voyage was safely complete.
I guess warp travel surely is an art form to her. I noticed that your love of painting is reflected in your speech as well. You associate so many images with hues and colors.
The Emperor graced me with a gift. I can see inner life in addition to the mundane. You cannot know that a fruit has rotten from the inside until a blade slices it in two. I can see the rot from far away. It roils like swamp mud, oozing through the bright peel. Anger and boredom, sadness and joy. Everything that people shut away inside themselves is revealed to me like colors on the canvas of my world.
Talk about something
You will
else?
hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
What does your special sight reveal?
Sister Argenta shines like a guiding star, inspiring resolve in those around her, seemingly inexplicably. However, I see a dark and ugly fog billow behind her, contrasting sharply with her shining light. It burdens the Sister of Battle. It drags her down. Yet Argenta herself is hardly aware of it.
Interesting.
Seneschal Viserion is among the few whose colors are a pleasure
that's a
to look
Viserion.
at. Whenever the Seneschal speaks, heavenly crystal clarity spreads around him. And whenever he is angered, dark blue clouds condense over him. And in his rare moments of joy, a pure gleam of sunset pink caresses the souls of those near him. Out of your entire retinue, Lord Captain, he is the only one I would trust with my life. Idira's emotions are like a maelstrom, bright, unbridled, enveloping her form like a wondrous kaleidoscope of colors. And as dangerous as a twisting warp storm. The riot of colors hides the truth from my eyes. What exactly is driving this woman? Is it her own will, or is it the Immaterium, Lord Captain?
Pretty cool. Tell me about Haas Orcelio.
As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them.
I'm filled with nothing but courteous questions. Imperium succeeded. As your cellular prophecy system named after your ancestor?
You are shrewd indeed. My ancestor charted that route while fleeing the enemies of humanity. They say the Emperor himself was his guide, because the warp expelled their vessel without a single loss. Unfortunately, the lips of those who relate this tale seep with disgusting green hubris. I think Kalain Orcelio was simply a skilled navigator.
Of course they have a rich history.
Oh, yes. The navigators of the house came to the Coronis Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestors expanded the borders of humankind's dominion for the glory of the Emperor, blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy.
Who rules the house? Isn't it Persephone or something?
Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of a protectorate, a Novator heads a navigator house. It is the Novator who decides where to look for alliances and which path their bloodline is destined to tread. As for our house, the transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Auronto Orcelio is ensuring the stability of the house.
So the Novatar is a patriarch or matriarch that rules over a navigator house, the figurative and often biological father or mother of the dynasty. So are they the ones like passing down their genes and trying to grow what would be the word, cultivate different types of navigators or perfect navigators? You lived in seclusion on a closed station until Felix committed his sabotage, so then you must be the Novator's successor.
So says Regent Auronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in rolling grey clouds at the thought of me becoming the Novator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I am not ready for such a burden.
With your permission, I'd like to talk about something else.
By all means.
I beg my leave.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
I am. Nice, just getting to know the companions and stuff. Nothing strikes me as terribly, ridiculously insane so far. I mean, it's all good, it's all solid stuff. I'm really enjoying it, but I think it's a long burn, right?
Greetings.
Even in stillness, this Argenta radiates energy. With her dark eyes shining and a slight blush to her cheeks, she is reciting a prayer and she looks at you only once. She has spoken the final line. Okay, nothing new here. Yeah, I think it's time to... Let's have one more crack at this puzzle. And see... Oh wait, that's the quarters. Never mind. Where is... The elevator's down here. The Astropathic Chapel. I think we did one iconoclastic thing and let, we said, yeah, open the astropathic chapel to the rabble. We really need to be more on point with our dogma.
Keep your wits about you.
Oh, no, wait, wrong place. Yeah, we'll come back here once we've interrogated more crew. Oh, well, no, wait, maybe. Did we talk to this guy already about the confessionary? Your lordship. Never mind. It wasn't the chapel, it was the shrine. There we go.
I always keep my options open.
Let's just, we'll do some random attempts. Okay, let's go. You'll see me within their souls, Emperor. I'm within every human, my loss is feared, for without becomes the end, but gives me to Emperor, and your must be life. Petition. Transgression. If I recall the pages of Life of Nadine Alikinov correctly, this part speaks about purity. The saints saw. Okay, cool. Okay, whoa. So we're getting closer. Emperor. Soul. Heretic. Purity. Aquila. Blood. There's so many possibilities. The only one we know for sure is purity. Yeah, okay. We'll try again some other time, I guess.
Always have a backup plan.
This guy still hates us. Ah, the Emperor protects you, your lordship. What brings you to this holy abode? Tell me, Adalbert, do you visit the shrine confessional to repent to the other as the officers do? Why, I always find the time for penance on my morning and evening shifts, your lordship. The orphans on the ship have already been provided with the bare essentials, have they not? Do you mean spiritual nourishment? It is even in short supply. Those children who are illiterate could use a new prayer books and hagiographies for their own perusal and to read to the others. I see it wasn't you. For a moment I thought you had come to confess about how I see you have taken on the role of a cleric yourself. May the Emperor guide you on your quest for answers. You're positively beaming with joy. You're a rare sight. Adult laughs good-naturedly. A fair observation. Everyone knows that the clergy must maintain a stern appearance to inspire fear and awe in their flock. His mirth fades, giving way to pensive gravitas. The truth is that my clan and I experienced great hardship. I cannot explain how it is I am standing before you now, except by his will. How could one be anything but joyful knowing that they were saved by the Emperor? Oh boy, here we go. What happened to your clan? Okay. I was scarcely more than a child when the malady struck our cabins. First would come the fever, then the unlucky victim would start retching blood. After that, they would melt away like a candle. Only the younger survived, myself among them. He smiles feebly. But now my family is growing, and I am grateful for each new life that replaces one lost. Still, your gentle manner may adversely affect your flock's faith. Are we doing this? An accurate observation from a lord who knows the importance of strong faith on his ship. The gentleness you speak of is skin deep. On the inside, my faith and spirit are pure adamantine. Decades instructing the crew and fighting the dangers of the void and the warp have required nothing less. My resolve in the face of monstrous threats we face must always be 100-fold firmer than that of my flock. Always good to test the holiest person on board your ship's resolve.
This could be an opportunity.
A power maul rests inside the glass. The inscription on the reliquary reads, I am wrath, I am the cleansing. Whoever wields me walks in the footsteps of Furia. There's no way to get these weapons, right? Anyway, we continue. Bridge off to a new epic real space warp adventure. Does Avalon have anything new to report?
Lord Captain.
Okay, cool.
Lord Captain.
Where to next? I think we go to... Let's check the journal. The guide. New blood, machine spirit, keep... Yeah, we need an engineer and more crew. Show completed quests. Secrets of the Nobility completed. Let's go. Looking for trouble. I think we gotta get more crew now, right? Prison planetoid. I think that's to find the inquisitorial agent, the interrogator. This is New Blood, Machine Spirit Keeper, and land on Rycat Morris. I think that's the way to go. Not explored. A scan is required. Should we do that? Let's do that. Then we'll go to minor. No. Let's go sort out the ship, sort out the crew. Then we'll go see what this is. Then we'll go there. Then we'll go there. That's the plan. Vox Master Victus. Lord Captain, there is some commotion on the officer's deck. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom, where uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Please, you should find out what has brought Cassia to the deck. Psychers have two types of psychic powers, minor and major. Please be voice acted.
Lord Captain,
Thank
my
God.
apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
The Lady Navigator is engrossed in perusing the dusty tomes, which appear to have been neglected by the other officers, be it because of sloth or dullness of mind. When you walk closer, Cassia looks up at you, starts, and hides a weathered book behind her back. Pleases me to see you just into life aboard the ship. Alas, a title alone is not enough to hold everyone's attention all of the time. Point at the book in Cassia's hands. I see you're fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves, and I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing.
The book turns out to be a collection of works by the Cadian naval commander and poet Elias Quent. Cadia, I think, was at the heart of the something maledictum, which is where I think essentially the birthplace of Slaanesh, or like where the rip between the Immaterium and real space occurred.
Urak 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
She gently brushes the dust off the cover with her thin, clawed hand, her eyes filled with longing after reminiscing about her lost home. The events of that took place on Urak 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well? Are you satisfied with your new attendants? Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Her response is reserved and pointedly decorous, clearly intended to create a distance between you. Are you satisfied with your new attendants?
Your servants are somewhat sluggish when it comes to attending a noblewoman of the Navis nobility, but they are quite tolerable. Thank you for your concern.
Perception test succeeded. Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of navigators often becomes a topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is clear that she does not feel comfortable aboard the ship teeming with new people. I hope that you have had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior in your question just now insulting.
What?
Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying? You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I.
After an awkward silence, Cassia frowns and purses her lips.
I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
Frightened by her own words, Cassia covers her mouth, pales, blushes, then pales again, and hides her face behind a cascade of her snow-white hair. I'm beginning to think, Lady Cassia, that the feelings I have for you are far more complicated than common sympathy. You have nothing to apologize for. Human emotions are natural, be they good or bad, and it's just as natural to share them with others. Quite right, so I would ask that you mind what you say from now on. It is indeed difficult for me to feel empathy for a mutant, however, the crew's well-being hinges on that of its navigator. Nothing to apologize for. Human emotions are natural.
Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urac 5. So why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here?
She places her hand on her breastplate. The primness of her expression cracks, revealing a great weariness beneath.
At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but my delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
What I find childish is the manner of addressing me as if I were your friend. I understand what you're going through. My own life was turned upside down not too long ago. I'm not in the habit of finding amusement at the expense of my people. Just remember to keep your emotions in check. Perhaps the privacy of my chambers is where we can find more amusement. Oh. Lord Captain. What I find childish is, man, I understand what you're going through. Yeah.
Indeed. I did not know. That is to say, I could not have known, as it is the first time we are speaking in a circumstance so private. My word, when I found this place, it was so full of officers. Why did they all leave?
I do not tolerate idlers on the ship. My officers note well. Perhaps my people do not wish to disturb you. I'm afraid I must return. Yeah, they didn't wish to disturb you.
Or because my presence offends them. Then I must take my leave as well. I am due to inspect the Sanctum Navis after the communion ritual and prepare the chamber for the upcoming warp jump. Thank you for your company.
Okie dokie. Can I please carry on with my quest now? We can't access this place normally, can we? Must remember that WP for psychers. Okay. Yeah, let's go back to Owlcat Minoris. Good grief. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Members of a sacred cult operating aboard the ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to their new captain. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Blood-Spun Web. The cult defends the flagship from both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard and looked favorably upon their activities. I'm ready to receive them. I will commence preparations at once, Lord Captain. Whoa. What the hell? I feel like they're just murdering my subjects. All these people belong to me, right? Those on the deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully into a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement while others murmur prayers to the God Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still.
This is the Void Shadows DLC character, I believe. They fall silent as a tall young woman steps forward. She moves toward you soundlessly, the dim light casting shadows across the mask which conceals her face. The masked cultists repeat the words in a meaningful, mournful whisper. We obey still.
Domin von Valancius, death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her.
The woman's slender finger has been fitted with a metal claw. She points it in your direction and gazes at you from behind her bone mask with the cold, grim eyes of an assassin. She pulls out a sinister curved blade, and similar weapons suddenly appear in the hands of her motionless companions.
And now we give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion.
So I know there are assassins in Warhammer 40k that are like, they've got some really sick lore. One of them that I remember is these guys who like, they're basically incarcerated and like locked in a coffin type of thing. And they just get deployed on worlds and they go on a berserker mad rage and then get picked up, or they either self-destruct and destroy everything, or they get wrapped up and back in again. So their entire life is just one constant bloody battle. Their blades sing through the air, and rivulets of crimson flow onto the deck. The young woman bows her head reverently as she hands you a heavy parcel. The others bow their heads as well. They seem unconcerned by the blood that trickles down their fingers.
We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibella. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
Ah, the Lawmaster strikes again. You have heard many stories about death cults, such as this one. These devoted holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into an art form of worship of the Emperor. They are exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of the faith, while others see their fearsome rituals as frenzied spectacles touched by madness. What is votaries? Votary. Define. A person such as a monk or nun who has made vows of dedication to religious service. Examine the cultists. The cultists are all voidborn. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobat's nimble grace and strike with an assassin's swift surety. Their red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out patterns of bleeding lacerations. Examine the captives. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down the tear-stained faces of the captured officers, technomats and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision: traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing. Technomat is lowest rank of the tech priests.
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voitvir, but it is your name they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
Interesting. So a death cult watches over my crew, they who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him, sacred executioners.
The Domin has discerned our essence. This is a great honor for the blood-spun web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This is our service to you.
Emperor's Tarot, a deck of psychoactive cards bearing sacred and meaningful images. Tarot cards are used for divination and predicting the future. They are believed to be able to capture images sent by the Emperor himself. In the hands of a skilled psycho, the Emperor's Tarot can be a truly potent divination tool. Okay.
How interesting. Devout assassins who believe themselves to be instruments of a higher power.
That voice is insane.
They revel in violence and cannot tell the difference between bloodthirst and piety. They follow their faith blindly, unaware of how closely they tread the corruption and depravity. Look at them. They stand on the edge of a precipice. The smallest push will send them plummeting into the abyss. You could be their downfall. All you have to do is push.
I find it very strange that we do not have the ability to react to this. A ringing sound fills your ears, deafening the noise of the world around you. Time goes still. A voice whispers seductively in the back of your mind. What exactly does a cult like the Bloodspun Web do?
The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the hearts of others. When a soul is filled with the poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship. But there are others, the virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One.
You kill innocent people. No one's really innocent, right? It's a Warhammer 40k. You mentioned the tenets of the web. What are they?
Our laws and teachings, our philosophy and way of life, our art of combat and spiritual dogma. The tenets are the blood-spun web itself. Humanity owes its existence to the Undying Emperor's sacrifice. It is he who protects us from a darkness of terrors. Hence, each of us has a duty to serve him, and a duty to die for him. To act otherwise is to waste the life that has been given to us by the Undying One, to become a thief. We help others understand this. We help them to live and die righteously.
You have my blessing. May your blades bring swift death to the Emperor's enemies. Heretical, give a bloodthirsty smile. Continue to serve me, dancers of death, but henceforth let my name be upon your lips when you shed blood. Instead of helping those who may soon stumble, you offer them death. You have my blessing. May your blades bring swift death to the Emperor's enemies.
The blood-spun web will not forget your words, Domin. They are the wisdom of the tenets and the benediction of our duty.
Tell me of yourself, Cabela. Are you the leader of the Bloodspun Web, or its herald, or its servant? Not with the captors. Why have you brought this rabble to the updates? Tell me about yourself, Cabela.
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. The honor of this title is bestowed only upon those who have ushered more souls than... It is shameful to speak of one's own deeds. I'm here to become your shadow, not to make boasts.
She stops abruptly, touches a slender finger to the fresh wound on her hand, and paints the symbol of a lock across her lips in blood. Not with the captors. Why have you brought this rabble?
So you may offer the souls of these traitors as a gift to him. You have the authority to order their execution. Their blood will bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One, is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself.
I find it so cool how different factions within factions all find their own ways of like serving the same sort of entity or god.
Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the blood-spun web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
The others echo her words from beneath their bone masks. Undergo the test. Give weapons to the traitors. It is time for the Cabela to prove herself. I will judge. This is so cool. It's like this feels like at a glance that you're the NPC, and if you were playing a normal game, you'd be in this position, and now you get to order the NPC to do the thing. Give weapons to the traitors. It is time for the Cabela to prove herself. I will judge the traitors myself. Give weapons.
A dagger that has not sliced through sinew is nothing more than a toy.
Cabela motions to the other cultists.
Let the final dance begin.
They release the captives from their restraints and place weapons in their hands. Do we get to control?
Your Emperor won't save you!
Welcome his embrace.
Cabela's background. Cabela has a remarkable background. As a death cult assassin, she can use special ability called Raining Blood. When used, it causes the target of Cabela's next melee attack to explode in a burst of blood, covering the floor and any enemies behind the target. The affected enemies suffer additional damage. She's like a freaking necromancer cross assassin. Cabela can also use a special throwable consumer called a blood file to spill even more blood on the battlefield. Cabela is a blade dancer. Blade dancers are incredibly skilled sword fighters who can devastate enemies using two special attacks, Blade Dance and Death from Above. The Blade Dance ability allows the Blade Dancer to make several light strikes against random adjacent targets. If there is only one adjacent target, all the strikes are directed against that target. If two swords are equipped, the Blade Dancer deals significantly more strikes. Death from Above allows the Blade Dancer to swiftly leap to a selected cell and upon landing deal damage to all adjacent targets. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but each use requires a charge to be spent. You gain charges by killing the enemies. Blade Dancer's main characteristics are weapon skill, agility, and strength. Weapon skill enhances their melee attacks and defense in close combat. Agility increases their dodge. I mean, that's all standard stuff. For efficient, increasing the number of strikes made with Blade Dance, strength increases. Okay, wait, so agility increases the dodge chance and makes their abilities more efficient. For example, increasing number of strikes with Blade Dance. Strength increases their damage dealt with swords. Most of the Blade Dancer's abilities can only be used with the sword equipped. Some abilities available through progression. Okay, cool. Sick. Let's start there. This is the AoE, Death from Above. Blade Dancer leaps into the air and lands on the selected cell, like a barbarian. That's so sick. Once upon landing, they deal 9 damage to all adjacent enemies. The leap can be made to any unoccupied cell within a 3-cell radius of the Blade Dancer's line of sight. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. The Blade Dancer cannot jump in a cell that is inaccessible in combat. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but each use requires a charge to be spent and inflicts... Okay, so we know this. Where do we see our charges? Is that the charges? I don't know. Blood file. Okay, so let's go... like
Trust
that.
me. The other side awaits.
Damn. Raining blood. The Death Cult Assassin's next single target melee attack damage splashes blood and 5-cell cone behind the target. The Death Cult Assassin and allies in an area of executing blood based effect. Creature deals 2% damage for each stack of blood just effect. Every enemy in this area, including the initial target, suffers blood-stained effect. Oh my god, there's so much. Both effects last for 2 rounds. Additionally, all the cells in the affected area are now covered in blood for 2 rounds. At the moment the effect is applied, it receives an additional +1 stack of the blood-blessed and blood-stained effect accordingly. Additionally, for every 10 wounds the Death Cult Assassin loses throughout the entire combat, each creature affected by blood gets +1 stack of the corresponding effect. Okay, so as you lose health, this thing gets more powerful, and then you get blood-blessed and blood-stained. The creature suffers +2% more damage for each stack of blood-stained. Blood-blessed, the creature deals 2+. Okay, that shit's confusing. Blade Dance makes 3 melee attacks against random targets, including allies adjacent to the Blade Dancer, each dealing 50% of their normal damage. Blade Dance is a melee burst attack that does not count toward the attack limit per turn.
The shadows will see it done.
Damn. Are you saying we can do this again? So if we do that here,
Death is a blessing.
then we go...
I shall not fail.
We can still do
Trust
that.
me. Killing brings
Oh,
me no
snap.
pleasure.
That is so sick, they all got covered in blood. Okay. Did we just get infinite turns?
My blade whispers your name.
Oh, yeah. Captive Renegade. He's got a knife. He's got a knife.
As
Kill him.
honor ought come, the other side awaits.
This is one sick ass character, holy.
I will set them free.
The angel's blessing awaits!
So they're bloodstained. The creature suffers +2% more damage for each stack of bloodstained effect. Okay, so if we go... okay, so that's to enable the splash.
As the tenets demand.
So we do that. Jump there.
As honor ordains.
And then we do... Are we going to blood spat our own cultists? Is that fine? Oh, I didn't see this guy. Whoops. Okay,
I shall
shift
not
one.
fail. Killing.
Oh, you can do multiple
brings
to the
me
same.
no
That's sick.
pleasure.
Okay. Excuse me. I wonder why we get so many goes at it.
The shadows will come. The other side awaits.
Okay.
Death to non-believers!
Damn. Glass cannon.
Trust me. As the tenet. Let your soul be purged. Killing brings me no pleasure. I shall not fail.
Okay, so that'll only do one. Cool. Very cool. And this is a great way to introduce a new character with new mechanics in the middle of the game because it was a DLC. This is the best way I've seen a DLC introduced, like mid-campaign. Very sick. A cut to the heart, a cut to the throat, a cut to the stomach. These wounds have been inflicted according to his pleasure. The blood of the apostates will wash away the stain of their treachery, so that the souls may prostrate themselves before the Undying One's throne and beg his forgiveness. Cabela wipes the blood from her blade in one swift movement. I have acted with reverence and shown proof of my loyalty. Will you accept me, Domin Voidicus Hermetius Timothy? Will you make me your shield and shadow? Factum Janus Danrock. Your Lordship, the spinners of the Bloodspun Web were watching, tracking, and killing Von Valencia's enemies long before the warrant of trade passed Lady Theodora. However, their blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. The Factorum swallows nervously, casting a fleeting glance at Cabela. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I'm sure they must have had a good reason. Okay, so they've killed people he cares about, I guess. Master Drums kisses her throat. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the Bloodspun Web, for we share a common goal, to bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of this ship. Scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, these spinners took a train driver to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malok did to earn that privilege, though, and who's going to feed his family now? Heinrich takes a drag of his Iho stick, exciting the thick smoke through his clenched teeth. But that's a lower decker problem. What matters is the Bloodspun Web serves you faithfully, Lord Captain. Confessor Adalbert. My predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about how the spinners saved this vessel from the servants of the arch-enemy. The Bloodspun Web paid the price in blood, a river of scarlet that flooded the decks from bridge to bilge. They became the blood of the flagship, the pulse in its veins and the beat of its heart. Their great sacrifice earned them the favor of House von Valencius. Tell me about the spinner's great sacrifice. The vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the Immaterium for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the arch-enemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became the hunted. The famished became a feast. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders, but then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tipped dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, the Bloodspun Web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. I wish to hear what my retinue thinks. Agenta, I have heard, though only at a distance, the prayers the spinners offer up to him. I've seen how their deeds fill the people's hearts with confidence in the inevitability of his wrath. The Bloodspun Web's loyalty to the Emperor is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in the fight against the arch-enemy. Although Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue, she respected the Bloodspun Web and approved of its mission. It is strange, their shadowy forms are swathed in darkness, yet a radiant light burns within them like the scarlet flame. I think it is a good sign. It is rare to see anyone filled with such light, even among servants of the faith. I have enough fingers in my retinue. You will be my shadow, Cabela. Cabela's movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. She removed her mask. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deathly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth, I am your shadow, Domin Voidicus Hermetius Timothy von Valencius, an instrument... Oh, damn it. Instrument of death placed at your hand by the Undying One. The guide, ruler, higher power to which humanity offers their prayers for aid and deliverance. Most would be driven mad with despair if they knew the truth. Okay, it's the Emperor. I also come bearing an invitation. The young... Oh, wait, what? It's just an instrument of death placed on Undying. For so it was ordained, and so his tarot forspoke. I also come bearing an invitation from Vizier of the Bloodspun Web. He wishes you to know that the doors to the Undying One's temple are open to you. Are you suggesting that the Lord Captain should go down into the depths of his flagship to search for this temple? With all due respect, the lower decks are for servants and crew. They are not the fitting place for his lordship. Forspoke? What do you mean? What tarot? The greatest, most sacred relic of the Bloodspun Web, the Emperor's Tarot. Only his chosen servants may earn the permission to rain blood upon the cards and perform the reading to see portents of the future, shadows of the past, or tangles of the present. However, the secrets of his tarot are not for the ears of lay people to hear. I cannot tell you more, not here, not now. Who is the Vizier? He is the first among us. The Vizier has spun the web of faith for 5-fold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood, my mentor and teacher. Why is the Vizier not here to deliver the message himself? The first spinner is old. His abode is in the temple beneath the flagship's freight line, and he has not left below decks in decades. Even a short journey could sunder the spirit from his ancient body. Where is your temple? I am not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Irian, the matriarch's spider. Hers was the thread that would become the blood-spun web. Her path began deep within the flagship in the dark tunnels of the freight line, and that is where yours must begin as well. This journey will bring you closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to the understanding of death. I do not see the point of these riddles. Your temple is part of my flagship. What is to stop you from simply walking inside? You must become the blood of the flagship before you can enter the sacred temple of the Undying One. I cannot guide your way, but I can walk by your side. I will walk in the footsteps of the matriarch spider. Perhaps one day I will grant you that favor. I will not waste my time with foolish riddles. Perhaps one day. I've heard the whisper of the Undying One. He awaits you. He calls to you. Your time will come. The cultists retreat into the shadows of Cabela as Cabela sheathes her ceremonial dagger. Your blade awaits direction. Domin Voidicus Hermetius Timothy. We will speak again when the time is right. I think they could cut the amount of paragraphs by like a third. It's a lot of reading. Void ship map. The Rogue Trader's ship is a veritable city sailing through the void. The ship has numerous compartments that you can visit. Navigate these compartments using the map of the ship, which you can access from the main elevator on the bridge from any compartment. Sick. Is she in our party? Yes, she is. Light Spinner's breastplate. 20% armor. Base armor property plus 5 dodge and parry against melee attacks. Spinner's mask. Damn, okay. If the wearer has 10 or more stacks of blood blessed, they gain +1 resolve. Sick. Oh, we must level her up. I think that's a full party. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Blade Dancer. Okay, so... Bloody mess. Anytime Voidborn character scores a critical hit, there is a 10% chance to double the damage. I really like that. Does she get any... Is this class specific stuff, I wonder? The Voidborn character... Okay, this is origin specific. Be smart. Anytime an ability or talent uses fellowship bonus, the Voidborn character... No. I like that. Next. We want agility on her. Choose an ability. Acrobatic artistry. The Blade Dancer immediately returns to the cell where they started their turn. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. If they've used death from above this turn, movement repeats all uses of this ability. What? This seems incredibly overpowered. Oath of Vengeance. This ability costs 8 wounds to use. The Blade Dancer selects an ally. Until the end of combat, attacks made by the Blade Dancer against enemies who have already attacked the ally gain 15% critical chance. Wow. That's cool. Veil of Blades. Okay, I'll have to read up on this stuff. This is madness. But I think for now we'll go with that. And then... Does Athletics increase damage? Traverse difficult terrain. I think we go Strength. Or, sorry, Athletics. Awareness. Affected by the perception. Comes to coverage ability to react to things. I think we just go Athletics for now. Okay. She's leveled up. Can we finally continue on our journey? Where is she? I feel like we have to get all this stuff out of the way. You know, all the pleasantries. Cabela puts away the dagger she's been using to reopen her freshly closed wounds. Yeah. Pesky wounds, always trying to heal themselves. What are they thinking? I'd like to know more about the sacred mystery. Actually, I wonder if they use disinfectant. I'd like to know more about the sacred mysteries of the death cult. Do I really though? Yes, I do.
The Vizier taught us that there are many like us throughout the Imperium who spill blood in his name. Death cultists, as they call us. He said that no two death cults are the same, just as there are no two identical stars in the void. I will tell you about the blood-spun web, but I cannot speak on behalf of all death cults.
She is a cool character, though. The voice is exceptionally impressive. What is the cult's purpose?
The blood-spun web holds the bays of the flagship together with the threads of its faith. Such is our service to the Domini of the Von Valancius line. The Undying One commanded the Domini to embark on a ship and sail the void's expanse. And thus, it became our duty to protect your dynasty and the Ark that became its home. This great relic of blood and adamantine.
I love stuff like this. I mean, they're just an interpretation of the death cult that, you know, the writers wanted to represent in Rogue Trader. It just makes Warhammer 40k feel so much bigger. I love it.
Some loathe and fear us. They call us murderers and reapers. Others call us dancers of death, who send the souls of the dead on their way. Both are right. Both are wrong. We are servants of the undying Emperor. When he whispers that the time has come for a righteous martyr's soul to be laid in his blessed hands, we come to claim it. When he whispers that the wicked must know of his wrath, we come to reap. This is how we maintain order on the ship, unseen and guided by death's will.
You hear a whisper in the mind telling you to kill someone and you obey. Have you ever considered these whispers could be a deception? Orchestrated by the arch enemy? Excuse me. How could you know you've never made a mistake? How can you be sure you never... I mean, who cares? Be that as it may, your thirst for blood is troubling. I like there could be a deception. Like, what is their fail-safe?
Death's whisper is unmistakable. It is not like the murmur of stars or the hiss of corruption. It is truthful, pure, unyielding. Only the most eminent of us, the high spinners, can hear the whisper of the Undying One and give voice to his will. They must hone their senses and temper their body and soul for years before his call can reach them. If it puts you more at ease, you can think of these whispers as his providence.
I think this is so cool because there very most likely is some mechanism by which the Imperium is broadcasting the signal astropathically to all the death cults throughout the universe. And because the galaxy is such a big place, this is just one way to sort of orchestrate and make sure people who are divined, you know, from Holy Terror, from wherever, and to just orchestrate assassins across the Imperium. I think it's so sick. And to these people, it's just like, you know, they live and die on some backwater world or on some ship, and they interpret it as it's just their life, it's just a religion, it's just, you know, how they operate. It's so cool. How do you know you've ever made a mistake?
We are carried along by a current of blood in the great river of fate. Life is not given or taken away by chance. If I see an enemy of humanity, my blade will sever the thread of their existence. I will not wait for a sign of his divine bidding. I am his will, and I do what must be done.
So I will not wait for a sign of his divine bidding. Is that saying that the whispers take precedence over the confirmation, I guess. I don't know. Okay, let us speak of something else. Camilla stares at you intently, perhaps too intently. She says nothing. How long has the blood-spun web been in... Oh.
Through blood, sweat,
Why do you call yourself
tears,
spinners?
and the strength of their convictions, the servants of the Undying One spin the souls of your subjects into threads of balance. This is why we refer to ourselves as spinners. Those who are newly committed to the blood-spun web are called lesser spinners. If they are faithful in their service to him, they may eventually become spinners. The most devout of us all are known as the High Spinners, of whom there are 7, each bearing a unique title. The Vizier, the first spinner, leads the cult. I, Kibella, am the second spinner. The third spinner's name is Io, and there are 4 more.
Okay. How long have you been in existence for?
Spinners carved the chronicles of our history on the stones of our temple long ago. But fate and time have erased our past, just as an exploding star erases a part of the galaxy from existence.
What are the responsibilities of the Vizier?
It is the Vizier's duty to watch over the flock, to lead those who want to learn more of the Undying One, but are fearful of death, and guide those who seek answers in death, but do not know how to live. The Vizier protects all, those who do not know we exist, those who are grateful for our service, and even those who hate us. The Vizier sees what is to come, remembers the past, and accepts the present. They spin a web of faith and blood so strong that no enemy may sunder it. This is the Vizier's burden. This is the legacy of the matriarch Spider.
Who was the matriarch Spider?
It is said that she was one of many, born in the void, the Domin's subject. She honored death instead of life, and for this, she was persecuted. It is said that when the arch-enemy's forces invaded the flagship during a warp jump, she gathered the Undying One's servants around her and saved the ship from ruin. Together, they spun the first threads of the web to ensure that such devastation would never happen again. It is said that she was strong and indomitable, but as the years passed, her heart became as stone, and thus the Undying One whispered her name to the one who would become the first Vizier of the blood-spun web.
That's a lot, man. You say the God Emperor is death. There are some who might find the comparison blasphemous.
The Undying One is death itself. We serve him, and thus we serve death. This is not a comparison, attribution, or preference. It is the truth, and nothing can change it.
You've satisfied my curiosity for now. Kibella nods slightly. Tell me about... Oh my god. Gesture to the scars covering Kibella's skin. You torture your own flesh. What is the meaning of this ritual?
Torture? I bear the sacred marks of the Undying One's service. Death has bestowed them upon me. Though others may cherish hollow riches or meaningless beauty, it is my duty to cherish his gift of blood. Each wound is a symbol of our service to him. Each drop of blood carries his blessing. To renounce these scars is to renounce the Undying One himself.
She's an emo assassin.
Death whispers to me, you are worthy of bearing his marks. Tell me, Domin, do you wish to honor your flesh with his gifts?
She stops and tilts her head. Then slowly, as if in a trance, she draws her black dagger. You notice several officers exchange worried glances as they eye the blade in Kempeda's hands. I presume this will not be a painless procedure. Absolutely not. Put your dagger away. Yeah.
A boon cannot be given to one who is not ready to receive it.
Oh, wait. Would we get a buff? Was it a one-time offer? Tell me about yourself, I guess.
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. A spear in the hand of the Undying Emperor. I am your shield and shadow. Your blade.
How succinct. Do you dislike talking about yourself? Hey, a look of curiosity flashes across Kempeda's face before it is masked by her usual stoic indifference.
The tenets compel us to let our deeds speak on our behalf. There is no one in the cult who does not know me. So I have grown accustomed to taciturnity in matters regarding myself. Ask, and I will try to give you an answer that will satisfy your thirst for knowledge.
Your fighting style is unique. Oh, I don't want to learn how to do that. Tell me about your past.
I remember nothing of my childhood. The Vizier says this is because of my training and the injuries I received in battle. He told me it is the fate of all high spinners. The only memories I have are of the blood-spun web and the brothers and sisters who serve the cult alongside me.
Yes. I grew up in the Blood Death cult, and we all received numerous head injuries and concussions. And now we remember naught but little of ourselves. What was it like growing up in the cult? What do you remember?
When we were young, we would sew our eyes shut and wander through the bays for months at a time. Starving, surviving, dying. This trial of darkness honed the senses of those who passed it. We were elated, for we knew we were blessed by him. When we grew older, we learned to wield our weapons, and our mentors tested us with pain, poison, and the weight of deceitful words. In time, our bodies no longer felt pain. Our blood became resistant to toxins.
Show me the
and our
stats.
focus could not be shaken.
What's your toughness?
We were at peace, for we had shed everything that could encumber our faithful service to him.
Continue.
When we came of age, we faced a great trial. A year-long vigil spent in unceasing prayer to the Undying One. When hunger and other base sensations faded away, we attained true comprehension of ourselves and our place in the world. Our place between life and death. We were proud, for on that day, he truly accepted us, and we accepted him.
It must have been difficult to go through all that as a child. I can see now why you're the best assassin in the cult. The cost was worth it. That's awful. Yeah, I can see why you're the best.
Those who devote themselves to the service of the Undying One must be prepared to pay any price. Emotions, blood, life, death, memory. We all must lose what we hold most dear to become a spear in his hand. Some may lose everything, but they will also gain everything.
Alright, your parents, your family, you've mentioned them. I guess.
When we join the cult, we relinquish our past. The blood-spun web becomes our new family. I have seen the pain, terror, and doubt in the eyes of those who hear the Undying One whisper the names of their kin. For some, the blessing of oblivion is a gift not unlike death.
I mean, they try and make it very dramatic, but every space marine except for the salamanders does not, never meets their real family. After all the psycho conditioning, there is no time for such things. Do you not wish to know what became of your family? Of course she doesn't, dude.
No.
Tess succeeded. The answer escapes Kibber's lips before she can give it away, give it any thought. Upon realizing this, she produces a small blade seemingly out of nowhere and begins to sharpen it with pointed nonchalance. You may not remember your real family, but you are truly so unconcerned by this with your fellow cultists.
It brings me comfort when my brothers and sisters cross to the other side. The Undying One has called them to his side, so they can serve him in ways we cannot.
You have no friends, I bet.
Attachment makes us weak.
True.
The weak meet their demise prematurely. But such death does not please the Undying One. For a soul must not be claimed before their time has come. It is true that spinners occasionally cross paths with those outside the cult. But such paths always diverge in the end. We may walk the same road together, but we are nothing more than temporary traveling companions. It is similar for those of your retinue. Our threads may intertwine for a time, but all will go their separate ways, as is inevitable.
Whoever wrote this must have aced English in high school. She basically just said, people meet, and then people grow apart. But in like a million lines.
But not you and I, Domin. Our threads cannot be unwoven, and only the Undying One will end my service to you.
I understand you better now. Do I though?
Know your enemy and prevail in battle. Know your ally and prevail in war.
Cool. Do you truly feel no pain at all?
You can see for yourself.
Cabela removes a small leather pouch from her belt and opens it to reveal several instruments of torture. What are those?
Tools for tempering the flesh. If a spinner neglects this practice for too long, their body will weaken and their sensitivity to pain might return. If it does, they will feel the overwhelming agony of every wound they have ever endured and go mad with torment before the Undying Emperor whispers their name.
Tormenting yourself almost seems to give you pleasure. Very Drukari of you.
Is it possible to experience
I suppose that's
pleasure
not true.
if one feels nothing?
Wow, very emo assassin. Drukari enjoy inflicting pains on others, not themselves, I guess. Very well, let us see just how imperious your pain really are. Wait, what? Okay. An assortment of small but sophisticated torturous tools are laid out before you. Drive a long needle into her eye socket. Stab a sharp prongs of steel fork beneath her clavicle. Pierce her skin with several chained hooks. The fuck? Stab the sharp prongs of steel fork beneath her clavicle. Where's your clavicle? Oh god, it's the collarbone. Do that.
You have found an interesting use for this tool, yet it still serves its purpose.
Cabela raises an eyebrow as she watches a crimson stain spread across her clothes. Okay, I think that's enough.
Do you have other questions?
Your fighting style is so unique. Do you think it's something I can learn?
Your body will fail you, Domin. Your bones
I'm
will
of that
break.
age.
Your tendons will snap.
Sounds like getting
Your
out of bed.
heart will stop.
Yep.
Our rituals of self-perfection are unending. They demand absolute dedication and decades of special training. However, if you devote the next 30 years of your life to its study, you might be able to learn the basics.
I don't think I've got another 30 years left in me. Thank you for sharing with me.
It is not difficult to speak the truth.
Did you ever meet Theodora?
I met her once when I was young. The Vizier saw a serpent hiding among those close to Domin Theodora, ready to sink its fangs into her throat. I was ordered to find the serpent and sever the soul from its body. I watched and waited for weeks. I hid among the shadows, the air ducts and the faceless masses. Once I found the serpent, I sliced off its head and returned to the temple. I doubt that Domin Theodora ever saw me, but the 3 ritual cuts I left behind on the body let her know that this death was pleasing to him. They sent us a grand feast from the upper decks before the cycle's end. We gave it to the hungry.
Okay. You always address me as Domin. What does it mean?
The Gothic we use to communicate is different to that spoken on the upper decks. Domin has many meanings. Giver of life, Lord or Lady of the Ark, and Shadowless Sun. The matriarch Spider gave this title to the rogue trader who allowed her to form the blood-spun web. We use other titles as well. For example, Venai means Master of the Immaterium, or Watcher of the Veil. Vil means one who must go to the other side. Amig means one you can trust in battle.
Thank you for that useless information. If the Undying One whispers my name, will you carry out his will?
Lords and wretches are equal before death. If such is the Undying One's will, I will guide you to him, Domin.
Tell me about the Emperor's Tarot.
I use blood to read his sacred cards and hear the whisper of the Undying One. His tarot is not an answer, but a question I ask of the universe. And the universe answers with questions of its own. In this sacred communion, I perceive hundreds of possible outcomes. They are all true, and yet they are only visions. I know what will come to pass, and yet I do not.
Yeah, I was about to say, the Emperor's Tarot is usually read by sanctioned psychers.
I am the spear of his retribution, not a witch or a sorcerer or a soothsayer. I have no strange powers, but I do bear his blessing. I do not command the veil. I am guided by his whisper and led by my faith, by the tenets. Please, do not mistake me for something I am not.
Law Warp succeeded. You occasionally feel a shiver run down your spine or detect faint sparks in the air when you're standing next to Cabela. It seems her powers only manifest when she's practicing divination or in moments of pious exaltation. Cabela herself does not seem to be aware of her gift. So they're like, they've got a little bit of the psychic gene in them, maybe? How did you come to have a deck of his tarot?
It is a holy relic that has been passed down from generation to generation. Only the first and second spinners are allowed to study the sacred cards and interpret their meaning. We use his tarot to guide the cult and discern the tangled threads of fate.
Hey, Cabela, how big's your dick?
34.
Damn.
There used to be more, but some have perished in the darkness of time. Their loss is a great tragedy for the blood-spun web.
Yeah, it's like a Pokemon collector with his Pokemon cards, right? Or a Magic the Gathering player, I guess. I don't know. Can you give me a reading?
Ask the cards, Domin, and I will listen.
She carefully takes out an Imperial Tarot deck. A black blade flashes before her your eyes, and blood drips from her palm into the cards. She closes her eyes and listens. What does the future hold for me? Cabela draws 4 cards from the deck and lays them face down before you.
The first card is the young warrior. It suggests inexperience, a path of becoming. The second card is the shattered world inverted. The path will have twists, turns, and thorns, but you will gather allies along the way and find what was lost. The third, the hound inverted. Someone has marked you as their prey and is chasing you through a field of traps. The lost child. You will leap into one of those traps of your own free will and place your trust in someone truly desperate.
No more questions. She nods. Let us speak about something else. I must take my leave.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
Oh boy. I think I'm going to execute all future companions before they join the party, so we don't have to talk to them. Not that we have to, mind you. I just kind of enjoy the flavor. Can we continue with our mission? If we get interrupted, I'm going to lose it. Oh my god. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. Victus pauses as if listening to something. It's excuse me. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Wasserian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. This game just can't help itself. It's such a Dr. Doomy way that we spin around in our chair. The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice, the loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. The young woman, dark echelons. Lord Captain received a plea to assess. Okay. The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might to not quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already been seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avrilla Vent, requesting permission to speak. Vent falls silent and then adds rashly, on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. I will listen to what you have to say. Speak, Lieutenant. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary, but I am convinced that this step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Vent is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Sauerback, who's standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Wasserian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. Vent reels off the last words as if she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she's finished, she casts an anxious glance at Abelard and then at you. There's an insurrection in the making aboard my ship, and no one has informed me. How did all this start? Where does Abelard come into this? I shall explain. I beg you to hurry, time is running out. I will not hurry, since my competence is under scrutiny. I shall speak for it as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so of course when I received information about cultists hiding in the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora van Valencius will find refuge on her ship. Excuse me. You are far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Viserion. Arrests, interrogations, mash punishments for entire sectors. It has driven people to the brink. Now there is a strike on the lower decks in Depot 4, to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into all-out insurrection, but when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. Sorry guys, it's got this frog in my throat that won't die. There's an insurrection aboard my ship. No one informed me. How do I start? How did this start? Abelard, what do you have to say for all this? What is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks. It is home to clans of general labourers. They are not as valuable to the ship as the families who have served its specialised systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable resource, and one which is now more besides, giving succour to cultists and minions of the Arch Enemy. Depot 4 is poor and trouble, but at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rotgut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again if the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to the sector. It is located on one of the most populated low decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on the neighbouring sectors. How did this start? The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. Will you ready though? It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed by a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head. Abelard, what do you have to say? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You'll see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins. There's an insurrection making left. Master of Arms, the ship's enforcers report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. She bows her head in Abelard's direction. However, a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Viserion's opinion on the fate of Depot 4, that Depot 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Mistress Sauback, I see you have decided to follow the Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Sauback, explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that Master-at-Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers, and yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers whom he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Adelard's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of the immediate superior encourages disregard for hierarchy among your lordship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master at Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's order. I notice a pattern in these actions. Lieutenant Vent, would you say that Seneschal has singled you out from your peers in any way? Abelard, do you wish to respond? Mr. Sarback, can you recall an occasion where I'd be encouraging an officer to disobey their superior? Or one where I would overrule their order, or show favoritism to those merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I've served aboard this ship. If anyone were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor with blood. Your conduct is, in this regard, have always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. Good God, that you distinguish some of them and know them by name is tantamount to walking around the officer's deck, handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those you set apart with ambition and audacity, makes them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faced as servants, fighters ready to die, their fate entrusted to the commander and no one else. That is the sole foundation of the order. Lieutenant Vane, would you say the Seneschal has singled you out from your peers in any way? Lord Captain, I swear the Seneschal has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me, or facilitated my promotions, although he is the man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place. He has offered me extensive guidance in my service, for which I am grateful to him. And while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know of at least a dozen fine officers whom the Seneschal keeps in his sights to ensure that they continue to strive. To prepare new generations of the dynasty's servants, to instruct them, and to separate those with potential from those who have exhausted it, that is my duty as Seneschal. This ship has bays worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, and stewards whom I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now was my student at one point. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame, I suppose. I will go down to Lower Decks and deal with the problem personally. I'm certain Seneschal was acting with his authority, but I'll verify the soundness of the decisions for myself. This matter is not worth Rogue Trader's time. Abelard, you have acted with staggering incompetence. From now on, no. There's an insurrection, no one informed me. I would not deem it a problem worthy of the Rogue Trader's attention. The Lower Decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we are still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. He scoffs. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the Rogue Trader addresses the malcontents directly, he will quell the unrest. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the Rogue Trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room. I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your lordship, sending a hit squad to crush rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. I'm certain the Seneschal is acting within his authority, but we'll go and see. Throne preserve you, Lord Captain. I thank you for the support. Abelard grits his teeth slightly. An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric. But please yourself, Lord Captain, however. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Lord Captain, I regret that the enforcers were unable to handle the situation, which then led to you and the Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to depot for myself and see to the expedient resolution of this incident. They could have condensed that into like 4 paragraphs. Good God. Whoa, nobles! Look at the nobles! Hey, it's a Assyrian. Take that, scum. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna die for that. They just throw acid on, like, the second in command. Abelard reflexively wipes the sweat from his brow in a startlingly human gesture and a telling one. A rare moment where he allows his rage and weariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. People dared to disrespect a senior officer. Let's keep moving. We need to get to the bottom of this. The people dared to disrespect a senior officer. They would not have the chance to express such disrespect if we were not here, and if the situation had been dealt with by the relevant officers, Abelard grimaces. It is a junior officer's worst failing to pass problems up the chain of command. I have never been able to abide it. I shall say it again. It was a mistake to come here on Lieutenant Vent's whim, Lord Captain. I must admit that the lieutenant is by no means the worst material for an officer, but in the name of terror, the girl is the same age as my eldest great-granddaughter, and she has the gall to tell me how to manage the lower decks and hunt down cultists. It will be another 20 years at least before she can be entrusted to act without oversight. They were saying your name. Of course they were. The organization of the daily routine life of the ship rests upon my shoulders. The mountain of challenges and problems from which I endeavor to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation on the lower decks has been a cause for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why they remember me. They do not know your face. To them you are akin to a creature of legend, one who has stood on the steps of the Golden Throne no less, whereas I am the man whose name is attached to every order docking rations or lowering a bay's heating. Oh, to every order docking rations or lowering a bay's heating. Let's keep moving. We need to get to the bottom of this. In about 3 seconds, we're going to be interrupted with another 50 lines of dialogue. Something resembling a nest made out of thermal insulation material. This must be where the workers sleep between shifts. Rabble. Did they throw acid at us? Valve. We can't interact with the valve. Valve, we're Half-Life 3.
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
Neither do I.
Relax, old man. Going for a stroll on the lower decks every once in a while is good for you. Lets you see how the simple folk live.
The sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Vent of the ship's enforcers is barring the path of her superior, Master-at-Arms Sucosta Salbak, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by the expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already and has now reached a boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order, now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no action can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. Abelard mutters a crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent, Sarbak, looming over her, or both. Your Lordship! They snap to attention. We encounter some locals on our way here. I want to speak to the strikers. Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. Hope gleams in Lieutenant Vent's eyes. I feel like I maybe was too hasty there.
Keep your wits about you.
Lower deck rabble. Rabble, rabble, rabble. A dozen pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation. From the barely... mutation? Interesting. From the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. A whisper passes through the crowd and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you've come down to us. Tell me what's troubling, why are you striking? We are attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit and now they're lashing out, as if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here. Like that one there, that lieutenant won't let past. Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off, but the lower decks are big. I'm sure there are some people who have just about had enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. The death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Awareness test succeeded. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body language and the glances traded between them reveal that the news of the attack was a shock to them. Tell me what's troubling you. Why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us, Your Lordship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet. Here's the deal, Your Lordship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching out for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to whole bays for a week, so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself. It's all true. Vent, the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amidship and who has fellow feeling toward us. The grim man with a scarred face throws up his arms. Your Lordship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now you've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. The persecution started props of nothing, you say? I was told one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet and that there are heretics hiding here. A cultist amulet? What's that? The gore they found in the dead drunkard? If it was something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said that they were looking for heretics amongst us and anyone obstructing the investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people. There have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, whatever it is, they took it off the dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when the fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with, nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine, I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Yeah, those boots really were fine, and there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed away by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. The same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your lordship, we are people of faith. Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the Arch-Enemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I'd had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down upon himself and his neighbors? Abelard, anything to add? I authorized the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. He frowns. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. They are the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. Sarbeck, was it really necessary to torture these people with cold? The rabble understands only one language, Lord Captain, that of violence. As per regulations, should the laborers persist in their unwillingness to cooperate, the next step is limiting air supply and cutting off water, which is almost certain to restore order. The peasants can grumble all they want, but in the end, they are the source of their own misery. All they have to do now is bow their heads and fall in line, and the need for punitive measures will disappear. What changes do you want? Would you look at that? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us bilge rats what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms, and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been a leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. You've gone too far, old man. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day is out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. I mean, it's... You know, they lose me when the so-called rabble is so reasonable, you know, and so self-aware. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies and we'll talk to them, one lower deck to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointed One turns his back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds, he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval. Coercion. Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step toward embracing chaos. Putting weapons into the untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw these demands and we'll consider the rest. What does that symbol mean? You will lose. Profit factor -1. Fine, I'll give the order for the enforcers to be withdrawn from the sector and you'll be given weapons. Hell no. Thoughts, Abelard? The story about going scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the Arch-Enemy. We must not give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity. That does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. What begins as petty thievery can turn into a far greater problem. I've seen it before. Abelard's face darkens momentarily. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor, only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of beds like a metal choking vine. Dude, that is actually so sick. So when it comes to scavengers, malcontent strikers, or whatever they'll turn into next, my verdict is simple. Give them no quarter. Where do you stand, Master of Arms? Give the rebel a grox, and they will take an agri-world, Lord. Captain, they only understand brute force and will interpret any concession as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recording the enforcers would be folly. It would only be a matter of time before we had a full-scale mutiny on our hands. You failed to convince me of your trustworthiness. This unrest ends now. Everyone who's involved will be eliminated. Or we do coercion. Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step toward embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands. That's reasonable. Coercion succeeded. Gain 7 experience. Man, we probably should have gone for the last one to get some dogma. The tall worker they call Rivet shrugs and casts a sidelong glance at the old woman. Old man, listen. The Lord Captain himself has come down to us and is offering concessions, and I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue Traeger, let alone talked to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old man. The 3 clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. The old woman hisses in dissatisfaction. You two are ganging up on me, is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. But I'll shut up. I would indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. That's great. Just fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed. Then it's decided. The persecution will stop, and I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultists. You failed me to convince you of your trustworthiness. This unrest ends now. Everyone who's involved will be eliminated. Boom. No, Lord Captain, I swear my lord to you, I beg you have mercy. The old woman spits in your face. Curse you. Sarback gives a signal, and the first 2 raise their weapons. Yes, Lord Captain. Suddenly, Lieutenant Vent stands in the executioner's path once again. Her face resembles a wax mask and her eyes are wide with fear, but her lips are clamped into a firm line. If you want to mow down everyone in Depot 4, you can start with me. Vent, stop. This is treason. Sorry, I've let everybody down. It's not clear who her words refer to. Abelard, her commands, or the striking workers who are now doomed to die. Vent reaches forward and grabs the barrel of the weapon aimed at the crowd.
Your arrogance will be your downfall. You will
fall. Energies, warp sports, voice of command. Okay, we know all the stuff. Let us stay. Yeah. I just want to see something. Did we get some tasty dogma for that decision? Are you serious? Okay. Start the battle. That's a lot of rabble. Who's going first? Wow, we are not going here first anytime soon.
I won't stand for it. I won't compromise my principles.
I do not expect this fight to be very dangerous. Yeah.
Follow my lead. For the glory of the Imperium! I'll do what it takes. Yeah! Quick! That's nothing worse.
Whoa! Oh, no, wrong, misclick, damn it.
Brace yourself, Avalon!
Touch me! Help me, Lord Captain!
Oh my god. Did we severely underestimate what is happening right now?
I am a navigator. Face the navigator's might!
Okay. Oh, we should have moved first. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh my god, I keep on pressing spacebar by mistake. Idiot. Boom!
She's there, Will.
I've suffered
Cassie's
worse.
down. This is shocking.
It will be done.
Do an attack
Follow
on
my
him,
lead.
and then do
Victory
that.
is imminent.
Then do a point blank
I
shot
will
on
do
him.
my duty.
Miss.
Attachment makes us weak.
Wow, we're dropping like flies.
Time to redouble our efforts.
Okay.
Who, if not me?
God damn. Cabela.
I
return.
refuse.
Why? Target is too far. Nonsense.
On it.
Aim for
Okay.
the heart next time.
We get these guys here. Can she not make it?
The shadows will see it down.
Okay.
Trust me. Come. The other side awaits.
Back to me. Oh, wrong gun. Wrong gun. Oh my god.
Every threat ends in death.
How many friendlies did I just kill? Oh yeah. I butchered this so badly. 3 of our companions died in this
My
stupid
heart
thing.
still beats.
Wow. Okay. Gas cloud grenade. Creates toxic aerosols for 4 rounds. Deals 8 toxic damage to anyone who enters the area or starts around inside of it. Yeah. Shock baton. Power hammer. 6 to 11 damage. One-handed melee weapon. Power swing. Let's have a look. Oh wow. That's a mighty cleave. Okay. Harsh shove. This attack pushes enemy towards away for strength bonus number of cells. Okay. I like it. Wait, what was that? Maces and hammers have special attack that pushes enemies away. Gotcha. Gather all that.
Here. What's that?
Hmm? There we go. Techniques.
That's how it's done.
The gauge shows that the steam pressure in this pipe is close to the maximum, however it does not reach the bars to the other end. Okay, what did that do? This page is where the start of each shift is marked. The last was missing, the workers went on strike.
I always keep my options open.
Multi-key and cargo. Nothing is happening, perhaps in a different way will work. Yes. Oh, a different valve. Excuse me. Did we lose anybody important there, like story-wise?
Is there money to be made?
Valve. Nothing is happening. Huge pipes, arches of the ship run through many bays during war, water heat, etc. Ooh. Civitas pattern autogun. Okay.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Heat sink warms air around scorching temperature. This is the warmest part of the bay. The workers even drag deck chairs here. Nothing is happening. Nothing's happening.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Stopping unexpectedly, Ablard imperiously dismisses the unit to stand at a distance and addresses you or other companions saying, I have an urgent matter to discuss with Lord Captain, please give us a moment. Ablard looks at you and his last visions of restraint vanish. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You made a harsh but necessary decision. But before that, you danced to the tune of a panicking junior officer. You put your life at unnecessary risk in the midst of a potential uprising, and your actions triggered everything that followed. If you hadn't given Lieutenant Vent false hope and then snatched it away again, she wouldn't have snapped. You had no business going anywhere near the lower decks. I was just trying to get my dogmatic point, bro. Is that how you see your future as the helm of the Von Valencia's Protectorate? Let's talk about your role in all this instead. You allowed this role to happen. Your actions practically guaranteed it would. There is some truth to your criticism. I flip-flopped like a fish. I should say so. You simply needed to trust me. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember Lord Captain Theodora, do you think she's ever set one foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers, while she dedicated herself to the grand designs of the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time trifling with matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. I'd be only too willing to trust in my seneschal and not fill my head with such matters, but the situation is spiraled out of your control, Ablard. Give me a reason why I should continue listening to your advice. Number 2. Ablard's face relaxes slightly. You're right, at least as concerned junior officers making complaints directly to you. And I lost my temper, and I believe I ought to explain myself. Please don't. The prosperity of the Von Valencia's Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds a sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds. They create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I'd known, everything my family had known. I came from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then, suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hanger on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty-bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you. To find your footing as quickly as possible, and to do that, I must insulate you from the problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain. The prosperity of the Von Valencia's Protectorate is just as important to me. You are the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run the ship. I think in the future I'll follow your recommendations. I value what Theodora created, and I trust that this situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operation. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. I've seen plenty of sentiment and handwriting in recent days, but very little competence. I have no plans around your judgment. Prosperity of Von Valencia's Protectorate is just as important to me. Comprehensive knowledge. I'll follow your recommendations. Yeah, let's say we will not change them. Abelard dips his head in a sign of assent, the shadow of an incredible strain, which evidently has been weighing on him for some time, finally lifts from his face. I'm glad you see the value in the foundations laid down by your illustrious predecessor. Why fix what isn't broken? As for me, I should live to not cause you any further consternation, Captain. And now please let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch his legs, there are far more suitable places. My goodness. Okay, I think that's about it for this episode, guys. It's getting long-winded. I think that certain quests and things are just way more well-written than others. So it becomes a bit hard to power through. Because there's a lot. There's so much. By God, there's so much. I'm still enjoying it. And we'll carry on next time. See ya.